Today, I'm joined by attorney Angel Mata here in Dallas, Texas. And Angel's going to talk to us about grand juries. So before we get started, Angel, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice?
Sounds good. Hi, my name is Angel Mata. I'm a criminal defense attorney who practices primarily here in Dallas County. I've been doing that for about 5 years, but previous to that, I was a prosecutor. I left McLennan County as a prosecutor, and then I went to Dallas County and prosecuted primarily family violence and felony cases. And now I do just criminal defense.
Outstanding. Angel's in our network, and if you ever need an attorney down here in the Dallas County area, Angel might be one of the ones that comes out to help you out. So, Angel, being a criminal defense attorney, here in Texas, I get this question a lot. Some states do what's called preliminary examinations. Some states do grand juries. I want to talk to you about what is a grand jury and how does that operate?
So grand juries are kind of what people think as maybe like a secret process. It's what takes place after somebody has been arrested. So when somebody gets arrested, a police report is made, goes to detective, they do a little bit of investigating, and then at that point they submit the case over to the DA's office. And it'll go to a grand jury, a prosecutor, and then from there, the prosecutor will submit it to a grand jury, which is made up of about 12 people. They will hear some of the evidence on the case and then decide whether or not it's enough evidence to proceed. What's kind of secret about it is that the defendant is not going to be there.
So the defendant does not have an opportunity to, come and, as they say, face his or her accusers or anything like that?
At this point, no. Now, he can request from the prosecutor to be able to make a statement, but that's pretty rare. Now, what I can do as a defense attorney is submit what's called a grand jury packet, and then it's within the discretion of the prosecutor as to whether or not to give it to the grand jurors. So I would prepare some information that maybe says my client is not culpable, not responsible for the offense, and then it's up to the prosecutor as to whether or not they're going to actually give it to the grand jurors.
So just so I understand, so in other words, you can do all this work, give it to the prosecutor, and if it's exculpatory, in other words, something that will help your client out, the prosecutor can say, I don't want to give it. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's pretty fair. We really don't know what it is that the prosecutor ends up giving to the grand jurors. Sometimes they give them all the evidence, sometimes they give them the report, sometimes they just summarize it. For the most part, in Dallas County at least, we trust that the prosecutor is going to do the right thing and give our grand jury packet over to the grand jury.
Well, let me ask you this question. Are you, as, let's say, the attorney, allowed to be in the grand jury room when all of this is being presented? Who's allowed in there?
That would be nice, but no. I'm not allowed. The judge isn't there.
No judge either?
No judge either.
So just one side of the argument?
Pretty much. That's how it works. The prosecutor will go in and submit the evidence to the grand jury, whether it's by summary form or by actually giving them the evidence, and then they'll make a decision. It happens pretty quickly. Sometimes the grand jury process for one individual case can be anywhere from like 30 seconds to 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
Absolutely.
Now, how long does it take once someone has been arrested and let's say the prosecutor now has the file and they decide to send it to a grand jury? How long is that process generally?
So every county is very different. Some counties actually move pretty quickly, but in a county like Dallas, from the time of arrest to actual grand jury, you're looking at maybe somewhere between about 4 to 6 months. However, if they're in jail, those people go first. Because they're in jail and they're trying to get it done within about 90 days. But otherwise, kind of get put on the back burner, and it can take quite some time.
Now, during this time, obviously you've got some work to do. Tell me what your clients go through during this time.
Well, during this time, most of my clients get kind of frustrated because they want to start going to court. They want to start seeing some action and things to start to happen. But for the most part, we aren't even entitled at this point to the police report. So all we get is the probable cause affidavit, and so they want to see the police report, they want to start seeing all the evidence. And so it's very difficult to get that information at this point because we're not entitled to it.
Well, let me ask you this. You said the probable cause, what do you call it down
Affidavit.
There? Probable cause affidavit, because every state does it a little different. So What is a probable cause affidavit?
So this is the affidavit the police officers put together that they base the arrest warrant on. So they have to prepare this affidavit that gives enough information in it to get the warrant for the person's arrest that they initially arrested them with. And so that is public information, and we are entitled to that.
Interesting. Okay. Angel, one last question before we wrap up. You've been doing this for a while. Do you have a lot of success? And again, I don't know how the grand jury system works. I'm learning, like a lot of our viewers here. In the grand jury system, as you go along, what's the percentage of getting something, let's say, dismissed, or I think you call it no build down here,
That's
right?
true, yes.
So if it's no build, how often does that happen?
So I make a decision, it's on a case-by-case basis as to whether or not I want to submit something to a grand jury. If my client says that they're completely innocent and we're able to gather some information to indicate they're actually innocent, then that would be a situation where we want to submit it to the grand jury. But if it's a situation where maybe there was a little bit of confusion and maybe they did part of it, or
They
they
made a
aren't as
statement.
culpable, they made a statement, then we may want to refrain from giving anything to the grand jury and just fight it out with the prosecutor.
Understand, outstanding. As a matter of fact, if memory serves me correctly, you defended one of our members, or one of our firearms legal protection members, and you got it no build at grand jury, and great job for that. So,
Absolutely.
great. And Angel, how can people find you here in Dallas County? You want to give them some information?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Angel Mata. You can just Google it, or it's attorney at angelmatalaw.com.
And that's MATA, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much for your time today. Look for other videos. We're also going to talk about other states that do preliminary examinations, which is completely different than grand jury. If you like what you saw today, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button.